5 or 7 year period.
I
Enough
wouldn't.
money.
I don't think it should come in the form of wages. You see, I think it should come in the form of.
I actually agree with you there, but we have to.
We owe
We
you
have to
this.
work within the financial system because that's what's there at the moment. Like I
True.
would prefer it.
Corporate world. It's all about being incorporated.
Yeah, totally agree. And so another example of that is doctors. So they should be trained for nothing, and they should be given a house and taken care of. They want for nothing, and given a small stipend for their work. So they're taking on a vocation. So this thing of charging them millions to become doctors, putting them in debt, puts them in the position when
That
pharmaceutical
incentivizes get out of
companies
debt.
come and say, we'll get rid of all your debt, but we own you now. And that just incentivizes the economic side of it. It doesn't incentivize someone's goodwill or stoic patriotism to their country, want to take care of their fellow human being. Like, it gets rid of that and replaces it with a financial model, which is totally against what becoming a medical person is, which is a vocation. You've said, I can do this, I'm going to go out and help my fellow human being live as long and happily as possible. But it's not about that anymore.
Brilliant.
It's shocking, it really is. But if they done that system where they used the construction and allowed them to pay their houses, that would show people, look, if you work and help build this economy, because for the building economy under the financial system that it operates under now, we would have to tear down the country every 20 or 30 years to rebuild a new society so that people could have houses. And so that's just further proof that it doesn't work. If you really get into it, like, and look at it, you have to literally tear down all the structures that are there every 20 to 30 years to make even the one I'm suggesting here work. And so the one that's in place at the moment just doesn't work at all. People get into debt, and then 5, 7 years later, they go through a recession or a bubble collapse or whatever, and they're out there doing God knows what. You have people here like Aidan was saying earlier on, a friend of his had a business, a gym, and he has to go back to doing work elsewhere now because his gym was shut down. Do you know what I mean? So it's just so much wrong with the system. It's laughable.
Just a quick interjection there. I find the small parties, when they go on about housing supply and the housing crisis, the entire focus is on the supply side, and that there isn't hardly any talk about the demand side. And I think it was 2 or 3 nights ago I mentioned the fact about the immigration being such a huge factor in our housing crisis. A very high percentage of the housing lists throughout Ireland are non-national, and that is an elephant in the room that has to be addressed. In terms of party policy.
I manage about 800 properties in Cork for Housing Association, and in all our new estates, it's about 40% true. 40% are given to non-nationals, but that's there for everyone to see as well. That's no secret. But the other thing as well is Ireland has always played both sides. It's played American capitalism and British socialism, and we do actually have a plateau where we invite people. Our government spend money to go over to America to ask vulture funds, mainly based in San Francisco, have they any interest in buying homes? And I forget the figure now, but it was ridiculous. It was like half of the homes built in Dublin last year were bought by funds. That should be illegal. These funds have no business here. They're here to capitalize. They know that the market is safe for the next 10 years. And then what they'll do is they'll come in, they make their money back in about 8 years, and then they'll have 2 years of relative peace, and then they might have to hire a legal team for 5 years while some people can't pay it, and or some people finish off their mortgages, or however set of directions it goes. But that should be illegal. It should be bloody canvassed for anyway in the first place, for starters, and it should be minimised.
I think that's more important than anything. If people come into the country, whether they're Eastern European or not, and they work hard, I think what you say there is more the problem than anything. It's these vulture funds buying up everything. If someone is...
Sorry, NB, I said I was agreeing.
I remember back in 2000, I was working in retail there, and when we were struggling to get staff, and business was suffering as a result, and Eastern Europeans came in there and filled in jobs that Irish people wouldn't do, and the economy took off as a result, because you were able to pack the shop, you were able to man the tills, and business, and like you construction workers coming in, and like I think people that are in the country, whether they're from abroad or wherever, need to be looked after. Whereas people coming in, we need to take going forward. We need to take a serious look at, and the vulture fund things I think is the most, because that's vultures, taking stuff, and make at the misery of the common man. Whereas people coming over here to work and doing a hard day's work and they get a house or whatever, that's a very different story to a vulture fund coming in. So I think you've made that point very well there, TK.
Thanks. It was I just kind of hitting home. Well, first of all, just from an anecdotal personal view, point of view, my uncle had a company which employed 15 guys. In 1995, in 1995 there was about seven working there, and they were all Irish. 4 years later, I was the only one left working with a load of Polish lads. Maybe about 2002. And they were just absolutely fucking excellent at what they did. They even used to fix his vans. And I'd be standing next to my uncle, and it's not that he let any Irish person go. He's just, as the guys left, all these guys had friends and stuff. And
a big thing about them as well, compared to and it's an important point in our own training here. Here you go away and you train to be a plumber or a carpenter. They can do everything, whatever way their training system as a tradesman is much more efficient.
Most of them did a year in the army or 2 years in the army. And, I just want to say, I don't even see a them anymore, and I mean that about everyone I meet in Cork, and Cork is very diverse. Yeah. All I'm saying is about slowing the flow and catching up with the indigenous people's needs. And then ultimately speaking, guys, in 50 years' time, when we're all dead, the world's going to be a very different place. And what we want to do is just, I think I wouldn't agree entirely with Japan's plans, but they have a kind of a system, and it's a merit. It's a system based on merit. It's not bad, And I've been an immigrant in other countries as well, and I've worked. So it's not about kind of, in my opinion, pushing people out or making people feel unwelcome. It's more about getting the reins on that which is creating these policies and ensuring that it actually works. It has an economic social good for the shareholders. Because at the end of the day, our government, they're just an executive. It's like as if 100 of us got together and we wanted to speak to one person. One person would go up and talk to them. We all wouldn't talk at the same time, and that's what the executive is. But it's ran away with itself, and it actually thinks that it's some type of, I don't know, like a monarchy or something, and that needs to be stopped.
I don't know. I feel we're sort of losing sight of, it's an objective fact. If you have 10,000 people moving from A to B, you're going to have 10,000 people looking for housing, energy, and food. You will never build enough housing in the world to accommodate all the people in the world. It's just simply not possible. And at some level, there has to be checks and balances on your immigration system. You can't simply have an open door. I mean, you wouldn't allow anyone just walk into your house, and you should have
I would agree with you on that, but it's more that, like, what's here, you can't just kind of kick out what's here, but you have to look going forward. When do you say, right, we have to, put a halt for the moment. We got to look after what's in the country. We got to look after, the people. And like, you can't, like, but that's part of their agenda, is to get people in, to cause division. It's what I feel. But there's a difference between people that moved here or working here, and you just say, right, we look after what's here. But you can't go say, right, to Eastern Europeans, right, lads, you all have to leave. No, we Reclaim Ireland is taken over here. And, I think you have to look after what's here and accept, what people that have come in, especially if they're willing to work. But I think just having an open door is definitely, I agree with you totally, and that can't go on.
You're right there, guys. We should have like an American model or an Australian model, something like that put in here, which actually be horrible. So it does.
Our old model was really good. It was when we signed 5 treaties, and I put it up on the post later on, but I'm sure you all know it's easy to find the 5 treaties we signed. And each time we signed, it wasn't about good fucking will or anything. Each time we signed a treaty, the last one was about handing over financial responsibilities. It's basically saying we'll allow supervision over our budget. Now, if you have a supervisor, that means they have more responsibilities than you. The one before that was about, and the thing, read through it. Like, they talk about the Shenzhen zone and the original areas and how people can traverse them, and just read through it and watch the rationale, because it's there in black and white, and we're only learning these days that our media only shows certain parts of the things, and they show it from a certain aspect. And back then we were reliant heavily on, and I would say the second vote we had, you remember when we were forced to vote the second time? That was the last time you'll ever see any. That was pushed over the line by media. Media scared the shit out of people for about a year. And I remember driving around. I was living in Wicklow at the time.
It wasn't just that. See, they were supposed to ratify some of that as well. There was supposed to be some stuff changed, and this and that and the other, for disabilities and everything else. And they kind of sweetened the pot. So they did. But then again,
and everyone was bankrupt.
Because of that. Yeah, exactly. But they never actually ratified most of that anyway. They still kept to the same one they were pushing out in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as a Polish person, I need to say it will be actually, nice to actually look after people who are in here, because like myself and my friends, we own the houses here. Our kids are in school, and we're spending money in Ireland. Of course, if somebody has a family and elderly there, especially, they are money sending there because they can't afford even education. So, but that's, I think, something that you have to do for your parents.
I agree totally.
Yeah. And also,
you didn't come into the country just to claim off the social welfare system. You came to work.
No. Also, I'm on the Polish group against the COVID passes, so that will be my people who I will convince to go and vote, because
very good.
I have Irish passports, and probably half of them, they have Irish passports as well, and they can go and vote. And also, they are active. They actually going and sending letters, going to principals. They asking for their kids to take the mask off. They actually sending without the mask, and they actually constantly actively doing something for Ireland as well. So
they're some of the most active against this thing. like in my town, there's a load of Eastern Europeans that are totally against this vaccine passport. They're a really strong group against it.
Yeah.
So the
Which is
long
really-
and short of it,
the last Lisbon
everybody that's here
treaty.
already.
The last Lisbon
Say that again, AJ.
I'm just saying the long and short of it, everybody that's here already, irrespective of where they come from, is welcome, and we just need to reappraise our situation to see how many more we can take, you know.
That's it.
And we can take as many as we can, you know. I mean, you know, if life is better here for people, we should try and take them, you know, if possible. You know, but we have
but
to
also
realize
have
that
to try and make it better.
Yeah, there's a
here
limit
as
to
well.
what we can take as well, you know.
And I think we won't have to think about things like that if you eradicated foreign investment funds buying homes, and if you did a proper kind of housing management policy with, again, an ESG, economic social good, or ESG at the forefront of the policies. Like when you think about it, they talk about building new cities and stuff like that, but you can planning, if you look at your county plan and you look about where you're allowed to build and stuff like that, it's all arbitrary nonsense. Do you know? People should be allowed to develop the arrangement, or the right should be kind of, the rights to do such should be kind of loosened. But I was looking at the Treaty of Lisbon there, and one of the things says, this gives the Union the right to represent all areas of integration cooperation in relation to with other countries. So basically, the laws that are made by Europe are superior to Irish. So the things that you're actually talking about are all breaches of the last two treaties. So one of the things that would be a practically good thing to do at this point is look up the rules on how you leave the EU, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to renegotiate another treaty if you actually want to take this autonomy. And it's not miles away to think that the European plan has been underway for a while, and there's going to be a European police force replace all local police, and then a European army. We're not far away from that. So you'd, as we talk about trying to get into politics and things like that, that is the kind of steel ceiling that you'll have when you step in the door. Is you don't have the right to make these changes. You'll only allowed put on a suit that you're only given a stick that's so long, you know. I stand to be corrected. I don't know.
What we're seeing with Brexit, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. And believe me, if we did get into power, like, what do you think about Brexit? A friend of mine texted me about 12 hours before the vote came in, and he works for a big bank, and they had done all their analysis, and they said the North will say no, and that's what happened. The elderly people of the North kind of said no, we want to keep our sovereignty. But when you think about it, the Queen is around a really long time, or the monarchy is, and it actually controls most of the wealth around the world, and it wasn't going to desist. And it actually says that in the judge's ruling as well. The judge actually says it's kind of like a government committing suicide. It can't really do, there's no functions or avenue to do, because everything is about protecting the government, you know, and you know, anti-espionage and anti-treason. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about, because backing out of the EU, England was never going to vote yes. No matter, and what I mean by that is they would have killed people, and they would have made sure that the votes turned out a certain way, because there's too much money on the line. You're talking about you desisting one of the wealthiest entities in the world, you know, the City of London. It's like a beach to companies. They go there to party, It's actually its own incorporation, similar to the Vatican in Washington DC, as I'm sure most of you know. And that was never going to happen. And it's the same with getting out of the EU. They would sooner send over 100 spies to tear everyone apart, or to set you up, than allow that happen. And tell me if you think I'm exaggerating.
No, I agree. Absolutely. But the objective here with this group and this party is to just try and stop the vaccine passports. So if we can do anything that's, beyond that, great. Don't get me wrong.
100%. And maybe there should be that type of phasing of activity. Stick to is it 7 or 9 pledges? 9?
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
8. The other one. Exactly. I'm just I'm spitballing, I guess.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely, that's what a political party should be doing. Don't get me wrong. But, the current, political environment that we find ourselves in here in Ireland, the greatest challenge as a community is, the discrimination we face because we haven't taken an experimental, treatment. So, yeah, so if we can see that off, I mean, these all these other issues, they're hugely important. Don't get me wrong. But if we can't stop the passports, it's everything else is irrelevant. To be honest with you, we'll end up in a new, European superstate where you'll need your papers to gain access.
I'll never. This is the hill I'm going to die on. You see, this is why I'm here. This is the hill I will die on. There's no fucking way. I'll just be put into jail. I did. I was actually arrested in Wicklow once. I went out with my ex-wife's brother-in-law, and I was telling him that I was going to leave her, and we weren't getting on. And we went out for a couple of pints, and we were walking home, like laughing and singing. We stopped and we bought some chips, and these 2 guards came along, and they were telling us to move on. And it was actually a hatch on the chipper shop. And I was saying, I'm engaging in commerce here, thanks. I just ordered something and it's paid for and it's nearly ready. I said, I'm happy, run along then. And it was a young Vanguardie and an older kind of guy. And I think she was at the time it appeared to me that she was a bit insecure and she was trying to assert herself. And she said, I'm telling you have to move on. And I said, I'm telling you that I'm in commerce here, and unless you give me a good reason to move on, I'm going to wait for my chips because they're paid for. And Langer down here had like about 5 pints in them. But basically, she turned around to me and she said, give me, what's your name? And I said, I don't have to give you my name unless I've been identified as a suspect in a potential crime. And I said, other than that, you can't just ask me my name. And I said, and I don't like your tone of voice. I said, I'm not in school. And she turned around and she was going, are you from Cork? I was like, hey, she goes, you're a cheeky Cork fucker. And I was like, I said, I'm not giving you my name. And she said, if you don't give me your name, I'm going to arrest you. And I just put up my hands and she cuffed me, took me to the station. I asked for the duty sergeant and I told him what I thought. And he was like, grand. And then I got a letter in the post. I had to go to court 3 months later. And the morning I was walking into court, my ex-wife turned around to me and she was like, I think we should separate. So I walked in and I was just sitting down in the court on my own, seething. And I watched the judge create about 18,000 euros worth of fines with people from a certain low socioeconomic background. He was just an asshole. And he called me up then and I had to wait there. I was sweating all day sitting there. Like I'd say it was about 1:30. And I got up and he said, are you Thomas Garney? And I said, I can represent him. And he said, is your name Tom Carney? And I went, I'm here to speak on behalf of Tom Carney. And I just kept on answering him back different ways. And he said, all right, you're being a smart ass. I'll see you at the end. So then I had to wait another hour and a half. And then he brought me in. And he said to me, are you Tom Kearney? And I said, I just want to explain myself. I'm after getting this letter in the post, and it's pertaining to a crime, but I want to call a statement of facts, and I want to prove that there was no reason for this to occur in the first place. And he was like, I don't understand what you're saying. And anyway, I'm going to write a story about the conversation I had with him next, but he ended up sending me to Clover Hill Prison for 3 weeks. And I actually got out the morning after, but I went back to the station and I told the sergeant that I wanted a detective, or sorry, I wanted a solicitor, and the solicitor came round, and I said to the solicitor, I said, I walked into a court today and there was a man standing there, and I don't think he was under his oath or anything, and it seemed very commercial to me because he wouldn't let me talk on behalf of myself or for myself, because myself is actually just the entity, you know. I wasn't trying any free man shit. I was just kind of saying, I walked into a court and tried to have a conversation. Judges actually are supposed to give you advice. It doesn't have to be good or bad advice. They just have to tell you how to get through the process. But he wasn't accepting that was the terms I was there on. And I said that constitutionally, this stinks to high hell. I said I have a right to movement. I could pass through the land without hindrance or delay, save in accordance with the law. And a Bangardee had stopped me. I later had found out that there was a fight in the town earlier on, and this was an hour later, and she was going around just making sure that there was no one on the streets because she was worried that someone was coming back. And I said, that's a perfect fair point, but she could have told me that at the time. I said, but she actually made an illegal arrest because there was no one fitting my description at the time. And then we can go to the pulse system and we can get a print off, and we can actually see what's being said. And I said, so I want to go to the High Court with it. And it was actually a Wednesday, and the High Court was on a Thursday. And so I said, I want you to put in an injunction this morning or today. And Jesus, it was so long ago now. But anyway, I was brought up to Clover in prison, and the warden turns around to me and goes, I heard about you, you cheeky cockfucker, come in. And I just didn't eat anything. I stayed in my cell. And then I came out. I was brought out for psychiatric assessment, and I sat down and I was chatting to the guy, and he was just, after 5 minutes of chatting to me, he was cringing. I turned around to him and I said, like, my passing through this process has cost the state about €7,000, and I'm counting on it as I go. I said, there's people in this country that, I think it was about 2013, I said, they're killing themselves every night. And the government are making huge cutbacks, and everybody's like really depressed. It's a very somber tone. I walk into court after being upset from a marital affair, having to attend court and being accused of something. And I went in to have a conversation with the judge, and he turned around and he threw a book at me thinking I was being cheeky. And he actually said to me, I'm going to make an example of you. He said, I want to get this overturned to the High Court. And I told the psychiatrist this, but anyway, the solicitor came back, got me sent down to Wicklow Court, or I was actually Bray Court the next day, which was the judge's, that's where he was based. And when you go to the High Court, minimum was 10 grand and stuff like that. And the solicitor was driving me to the court, and he's like, it's 10 grand there now if he takes you to court. And I said, look, I already know you're after having a conversation with this judge. I said, you're in the Law Society. I said, don't play me like a fucking fool. I said, we're going to drive to the court. I'm going to walk into the court, and he's going to slam his gavel, and he's not going to say anything. And I said, I'm going to walk out of there free man, and you know that. And I said, because I'm not a fucking idiot. Anyway, he drove me up. Your man was huge as well. He was a part-time fireman, really nice guy. And he drove me up to the court. I walked in, and just before I walked through the door, he put his hand on my shoulder and he says, don't say anything fucking stupid, just nod. And I walked in, and the judge, your man called out the case, and the judge, immediately after your man finished his last word, just slammed his gavel and said dismissed. And I walked straight out of there, not a bother. And the solicitor turned around to me and said, here's my bill. And I turned around and said, you already been paid. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, you know what I'm talking about. And he knew exactly what I'm talking about. The legal system is it's full of jailers who've been in their jobs too long. That's what judges are. They're not even fucking smart in their rulings anymore. They're all of their decision making used to orbit around how much money is in the coffers, or there was too much crossover between departments. We have some separations now, but our judicial system is full of fucking wankers.
Alcoholics and coke addicts.
Yeah, absolutely. Arrogant pricks. I know 2 judges in Cork, like, and I've seen where they live, and they were just, some of them were animals, they were just really tough. And then others, it really would depend. If you're walking into court, like, the first question a solicitor would say to you is like, who's the judge? Oh yeah, if he hasn't had his breakfast, you'll be in trouble, kind of shit, which is not how law should be dispensed.
Always get a solicitor who is friendly with the judges.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's always been the case, isn't
it? Exactly. They play golf.
So I see Jonathan Van Tam, the UK minister for, he's the chief medical officer for the UK government, resigned today.
Yeah, get out before the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Is that because of that report, page 23 of the report, about antibodies decreasing after the second booster shot?
All right. Yeah. So
what was
he's leaving his role as chief medical officer.
What was the name of the body that printed it?
Oh yeah, the JVI, is it?
UK Health Security Agency, COVID-19 vaccine surveillance report.
Yeah.
Every day for the last year, I've been looking for news like that, and I still don't know if it's got bite.
And I reckon that's why the head of Pfizer came out and said that the first 2 vaccines didn't know good for you at all. They knew it was coming.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why they're all starting to panic.
I know. Poor fella, though, he's only making record profits. I wonder, does he get a proportion of those profits? Like,
yeah, had Hulan here. Net was looking to make it mandatory here. So even then they come out saying about the cost numbers dwindling in the hospitals and this and that and the other. And they had a face on like a well slapped arse. So you had, So you can see the fear starting to come in them. So you can, because they know they're getting caught out here. So yeah, they know the truth is actually coming out. When you have also on top of that, you have 1.6 million people in the country that didn't go for a booster and refused to go for it.
Yeah.
It's all starting to fall apart on. So it's
number, because I think I was watching GB News last night. GB News is very good, guys, and they were saying that the refusal rate for the boosters is pretty high. It's 60%. So yeah, I'd love to know what it is in Ireland. I'm sure it's high as well, because anyone I've been talking to now, they're hesitant about getting the booster. Even Farage last night said he was hesitant about getting the booster. Nigel Farage.
Which there's reports there as well saying that now they have in March they're bringing out the vaccine for the Omicron. But should you do that, Arseles? Do you think anybody's going to get a vaccine for Omicron?
Yeah, I know what you're
About
saying.
50% in Ireland.
The sniffles. Yeah.
Sorry,
About 50% in here in Ireland. Dan's mixtape done a video there today. I just posted it up in the chat.
Oh, great.
So it's going to be even less. And that's the official figures. That's what they're saying. So I'd make it even lower than that. I have it at about 30% just from listening to people. Yeah.
Well, guys, that's our recruitment. I mean, that is our cohort. That's our recruitment cohort. It's all of those people we should be reaching out to. I know we're not going to be able to identify them, but if we know there's a large cohort of the population out there disillusioned with having to get a third job, that's exactly why we're rallying, because their passports are going to expire in April predominantly, you know.
Exactly. And it suits them to have us there fighting for their case as well.
And it suits us too because we're going to swell our numbers.
Exactly. I was actually only saying all this to Kieran earlier on.
Great. So things are actually starting to look as if they're starting to, everything that we plan for is starting to fall into place. There is only just one caveat I have to say here, and that is I suspect a financial crash. I don't know why. That could be their ace trump card.
Well, America is insolvent now and has been for the last year and a half. The only reason why it hasn't collapsed is because they keep printing money. So I'm sure everyone knows 25% of all money printed has been printed in the last 2 years. That's from all of history.
Yeah.
25%. That's an incredible amount of money.
Brilliant.
Incredible. It's truly staggering.
You just watch our inflation, though. You watch our inflation go through the roof. You can't stop it.
Yeah. You can't.
You know.
So that's what makes the crash look more inevitable, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Because
and it is going to happen here.
But they have the ability to initiate it. You know, they do. I mean, they did back in, September 2007, 2008. You know, they have the ability to initiate the crash, Black 87.
Yeah.
You know, they do. They have the ability to do it. They just trigger the events.
You see, don't forget to see, it's not even just that. You're going to have a mixture then as well. You see, when all the truth comes out, you watch these stock markets plummet. So do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is all going to go. So it is.
So is
every bit of it.
Is that the last? Is that the last part of this whole scenario? You know.
One of the reasons I was saying that if we were to get out of EU, we have enough resources here ourselves to actually have, print our own punt and have a goal backed as well. Backed by goal. Like. We have enough of that here to do that here ourselves. And that alone would give us one of the highest currencies in the world. So it would start getting back to being a productive country again and start producing as well. We've lost all that. That was all taken away when we joined the EU, you see.
Interesting, yeah. But I mean, it does look. I mean, if you look at across the UK and that, definitely the UK, they're either they're getting rid of Boris anyway. So whether they're going to replace him with any of the Priti Patel or Souness or whoever, So your man Souness is definitely more. He's more of a Bilderberger than Boris is, I'm sure. So maybe that's the reason they're getting rid of him because Boris isn't following through. He's not doing a good job because he didn't follow through with all the emergency, shit for Christmas. So maybe that's why they're trying to get rid of him. Because definitely the media is after him,
And he's fucked up too many times as well, you see. And publicly fucked up.
No, that's definitely true. Your man, the Chancellor, the Indian fella, he's Goldman Sachs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's proper Goldman Sachs. They want him in.
They do. So is that what we're witnessing in the UK?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're dead right with your observation. Boris did try to hold out, to be fair to him. He held out over Christmas and it kind of screwed up a bit and all that. But yeah, they realise that he's not one of us, so they want to get rid of him. Yeah. And your man, the Chancellor, the Rishi Sunak, he's proper globalist. Absolutely.
He's probably sadistic enough to get done what needs to be done for them. You know.
Well,
but I don't think if
Rishi
let away
Sunak, so you got the ethnicity kind of coming in. If Rishi Sunak becomes the Prime Minister, he'll be the first Indian Prime Minister of England. So there's kind of a racial element there as well, just to rub people's faces in it and make them even more angry. You know, they're sadistic bastards, like, you know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, it does.
So that'll increase racial tension and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
You know, it just will. It just will. I just know it's going to happen.
But I suppose the key to this really is the level of resistance to the booster. You know, overall in both countries. You know,
if everyone stops taking the booster, then the pass is no good to them. If everyone stops taking the boosters,
yeah,
the pass is no good to them. There's no point even 1/3 of the country taking the booster. It doesn't work.
I think the game is up. People are recognizing it, like, you know.
Well, okay, we gotta look at the different eventualities here. If the resistance to taking the booster is very high, well, then lots of people are going to lose their vaccine passports in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to be that's going to make them force them over to our side, you know, even more, which is good news for us.
Yeah.
You know,
so there's a lot of people that were forced. There was a lot of people forced over onto our side, even after getting their second jab, because the booster wasn't really announced then. You know what I mean? And it was only after, let's say, 60 or 70 or 80% had taken their second jab, then they started announcing boosters. And that's when people said, no, they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, sure. Listen, I mean, the head of the Care Homes Association said last week he was calling for the fourth booster to be introduced.
Yeah.
The fourth jab. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, so we are, you know, as soon as the third one's out of the way here, it's going to be the fourth one, and then it's going to be the fifth.
Yeah.
Vaccine companies aren't going to let go. Are you joking me? They're making a fortune.
No, they're not. No, just they're not. Of course they're not. But if people stop taking them all together, so what are they going to do? They can't mandate them. They can't force them into you. You know. Just to tell you one thing, they better have a very good recruitment plan. So they better.
The next, I think the next stage is the climate change lockdowns.
That's exactly what's coming.
They'll do a bait and switch. Oh, it's climate change. Oh, we got a lockdown for climate.
Sure, after having a couple of deaths from climate change already. So they're saying, you know.
Yeah.
Everything is here division now.
They'll do a bait and switch and all of a sudden. Yeah. They'll do a bait and switch, and all of a sudden, Greta Thunberg will be back on your TV screens. That's what they'll do. You know, so Greta Thunberg is nowhere to be seen at the moment.
Yeah. Well, she was in one at London, and I actually seen the video and everything else. And I've seen another video before that, and I thought, what? You know, she even turned around and said, "This climate change is all a fucking hoax." Now, whether she was on a monthlies or whatever you call it, I don't know. But she came out and said this on a radio show, and she was being recorded saying it. Then after that, I've seen her in London say the same thing at a rally in London. So,
yeah, she was in a rally in London as well.
Yeah. So she's either a patsy or she's turned her backs on him. Either one or the other.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because there was a post up there for a long time. There was a scientist who's 20 years or something, whatever it is, or 37 years at it or whatever, and no one was listening to her. But yet here, and she's fully qualified. She's an expert in her field at this. So she is. But yet here comes a 16-year-old or whatever she is, Greta Thunberg knows nothing, knows no one, or nothing else. Backed by Soros, the whole of them.
Yeah.
And yet everybody's listening to her.
Listen to her. Yeah.
But yet she has her big iPhone in her pocket and everything else.
But
She got how'd she get to England? She flew. You know.
I know.
Come on. The contradiction of fucking terms, like.
It's the whole thing's a joke.
Of course it is. I've seen videos before, and there was a scientist was there, and it is his field and everything else, but he wasn't getting paid for anything else in America, and he sat down for nearly 3 hours and going through the whole lot with him. And they tried to throw him out several times, even tried to have him arrested for what he was saying and get thrown out. But he actually held out. And he says, since 1970s, 72, 73, this world, he says, is cooling down, not heating up. He says, the data and everything else that you're getting, NASA and everything else, is all fiddled. And he had all the facts and everything else, he had all the proof and everything else there of the data and everything else, which came through NASA. But then, of course, it comes out on the report from NASA, it's different. So it is. You know, so this proved he had fiddled it.
Oh, they're fiddling it because of the amount of money involved. It's huge amounts of money involved in all this. It's staggering, the amount of money involved. That's what breeds the corruption. You know what I mean? It's purely money.
Soil, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been watching I've been watching talk radio. I listen to talk radio. Sorry, and I watch GB News at night. You know, they're definitely, you know, very much against the narrative now at the moment, and you know,
they are now.
You could see Mike Eden, you know, or any, you know, or Robert Malone or anybody on any of these programs. I'd say in the near future. I mean, we wouldn't have even dreamed of that 6 months or a year ago. You know.
No, but you wouldn't dream of it either 2 or 3 months ago either. Just only the last month they're actually doing this. So there's a big change coming. They know the truth, I think, is coming out. And now they're starting to work with the other side of it, you know.
In fairness to Murdoch, he does own talk radio, you know.
Oh, yeah. Actually, he fucking owns most of it, doesn't he?
In fairness to him.
That's interesting. Are they trying to save their skin? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, are they trying to save their skin? Kind of, in a way. They're switching sides and...
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
The post coming out, they're going to get wiped out because the only way to sort this out, they know it and we know it, is literally a cleansing from the very top right to the bottom. That's the only way of sorting this out. You cannot leave one of them behind. You also have to go after the 4 top companies in this world as well. They have to go as well. So they do. This is why I was talking about get back to production. You know?
Yeah.
You can't be left. We can't be left to be dependent on everybody else around the world. We need to start depending on ourselves. So we do.
I'm sensing, like over here in Slossna, I'm just sensing the anger building up and up and up and up and up. It's getting too much. They're close to a fucking revolution over here. Like the sheer anger from just normal English people I'm talking to. Just normal people, like, you know.
Dragon Energy, we
for 2 years.
We in the chat yesterday when I told you about, or a couple of days ago when I mentioned how I was on the top deck of a bus in London, and some fella at the back of the bus just starts talking about the whole situation, and half the top deck all start shout, yes, you're right, and turn around and pointing at him, and you know, throwing their hands at a point, you know, throwing the finger at him. Yeah, I'm there, brother.
Yeah.
And then there's like different strands. It's like I was given, he was a moderate, I was moderate, and the fella behind me was completely off the Q scale, or completely lizard people gave an egg, and then somebody else was coming in from the religious angle, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. We were all so excited because we were all sitting here thinking we were alone with these thoughts.
People from different angles coming together.
The people on the top deck of the bus all agreed with this guy.
Brilliant.
And they're all from different backgrounds and different angles.
Completely.
I noticed that too. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you know
Something's
yourselves,
happening.
whatever happens in the UK always ends up happening here a couple of weeks or months later.
Oh yeah.
One or two late.
So it's kind of like a precursor to what happens over back in my homeland. You know, just keep an eye on England, what they're doing to Boris, and keep an eye on that. You know.
Yeah, but you look in America as well. There's another one of them as well. The judges in the Supreme Court out there have stopped the vaccinations and everything else. So to be stopped.
They're stopping the mandates. The local judges are stopping the mandates.
All gone. Yeah, even through the army as well. All gone.
Oh no, the Attorney General of Texas, right? The attorney, he's the highest law officer in Texas. He basically said on Twitter to the U.S. president, "Screw you. The National Guard in Texas are under the control of the governor. Get lost."
No.
I mean, I was reading that tweet and I was like, going, "That's close to secession." No, it's not some Alex Jones character kind of saying it. It's the Attorney General of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Abbott.
But that could go like
fairly important stuff.
Yeah, Greg Abbott. Yeah.
He told Biden to get lost.
No, he's the premier, isn't he?
No, it was the Attorney General, like the top law officer.
No, Greg Abbott's the
Greg
premier,
Abbott is the governor.
Governor.
Yeah. It wasn't the governor. It was the Attorney General giving Joe Biden a lesson on U.S. constitutional law. The president basically telling him, get lost. Like the top legal guy in Texas. It wasn't the governor. It was the top legal guy. Think about that. You know what I mean? No, Joe Biden, you do not control the Texas National Guard. We do. Get lost. That was basically the synopsis of what he was saying. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. When I came across that yesterday, I was like going, holy
U.S.
shit.
Supreme Court ruled the mandates as well.
Yeah,
so, there's
a lot of them going through the Supreme Court right now in America.
Supreme Court that Fauci and everything else lost their case against Rand Paul and everything else.
Sorry, guys, but are you sure that's the real news? Because I think I asked somebody from America about the Supreme Court and mandates, and he said it's a fake.
No, it came actually through Ryanair Full Mitch as well.
Okay.
So it did, and that's the only reason I actually put it out there. I think I posted 3 or 4 posts earlier on.
I was looking at the story.
Okay, so
USA Today.
Glad it's not fake.
No, it's on USA Today, Milna.
All right.
This is mainstream news. This is not
news,
like
then.
Alex Jones territory.
Okay.
Oh no. This is mainstream.
This
is mainstream stuff. Like
I was sharing it earlier from their Facebook page, and it's on their Facebook page.
They were trying to hold on. They were trying to hold on there for a long time, not for to come out into mainstream, but they came out in too many other places. They had to cover. They had no other choice but cover.
They had no choice. They had to come out with it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, so this is mainstream stuff, love. This is mainstream stuff. It's unbelievable.
It's funny. I'll tell you why. Because I found that I couldn't share it earlier for some strange reason. I was trying to figure out why. I wasn't allowed to share it because I run a channel, that I was trying to share it onto, and I couldn't share it, and I'm still confused as to why. It's obviously Facebook's not allowing people to share that individual post, which doesn't surprise me, I suppose.
It's outpost being censored at the same time. Still, yeah.
Yeah.
It stopped for going too wild, So it is, because that would be like literally go around wildfire.
Yeah, totally, Paddy. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just trying to I'm back here on their page now. There it is. The Supreme Court on Thursday halted enforcement of one of President Joe Biden's signature efforts to combat COVID-19. Yeah, so you'll find that's.
Yeah.
I'll dig up the. Start losing the rest. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just digging up the Texas Attorney General and the National Guard tweet. I'll dig that one up.
Yeah.
I think they were saying that they can't, with their constitution as well, or whatever it is out there is, they can't force them to take it either.
Can't enforce it. They can't. No.
So that's the same here in our constitution. You can't mandate it in our constitution either.
Hey guys, how's it going? How are you all doing?
Hi, Alan, how's it going?
Oh, not bad. Know yourself. A very happy New Year to you all.
The same to yourself.
Yeah, it's especially in the mad times we're in and all the rest, you know.
Say that again?
Especially in the mad times we're in and all the rest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think there's going to be changes coming.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the anti-lockdown protests are going to be bigger than the water, bigger than the water protests, in my opinion, like really soon. And I'll be honest, like about 85% of my family is unvaccinated, and the 15% now, like they're going against the booster shot, like they're not going for it, like they're actually coming onto the other side, like, and that's what's going to take an awful lot of people, like, you know.
Well, that's quite welcome here as well. Like yourself, there's no bothers. Everybody wakes up at some stage, you know.
I recognise that voice.
You can't look down at him for for that, like, you know.
There's actually a young lad that's very good friends with like his parents, they'd be good friends with my parents, and he was only 29 years old. He dropped dead there about 3 days ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, so like it's gone very bad, like, you know. And my grandmother is having heart palpitations as well. Like she's having awful heart problems after it as well. So like it's the reason why she's rejecting it now. Like, so like it's wrong to that. They had to come to this, like, you know.
Sooner or later, people are going to join up the dots. Yeah.
They were saying there as well, even on Rain or Full Mitchell as well, they have proof now of all the batch numbers and everything else. They come out in certain countries that some are okay, but these batch numbers have been linked to a lot of people that got them. A lot of people have died and severe reactions and everything else. So they have.
Yeah, but see, like the thing is, like 75% of the population now are going to have to go to the government and just say, okay, well, like, what's the long-term health impacts that happen to me now? Like, you know what I mean? And well, what has to be done is, like, some group has to be set up to represent people who've been damaged by the vaccine. Like in the same way that when people were damaged by the swine flu vaccine, they had a representative body.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have to start working on now, is to represent those who've been damaged by the vaccine.
Of course it needs to be done. Definitely. You know, the laws have dragged our feet on that one as well. So they will.
Yeah, actually, that's probably something we need to do, guys. In fairness, I think you're not far off the mark there, Alan.
Yeah, those are things
that
to start
could be a
working
good way of reaching out to people as well. You know, for us to set up, you know, some sort of
you should try that
support network.
Yeah,
Alan,
part of our formation as a political party.
Set up a new NAPA. So I think we kind of covered this before. Vincent Carroll, well, I'm not sure. Dolores Powell, get all of them on board. Like,
Alan, are you still in touch with Dave Egan?
Peter Morrissey, Jim Morrison over in Adair.
Alan, are you still in touch with David Egan from Galway?
See, we have to do it in kind of a public outreach kind of way, though. Like, maybe, like, kind of do kind of coy, like maybe say, okay, like, do you know anybody who's been vaccinated? Like don't be afraid to speak out. Like, we'll be here to represent you. Like, I think the group that did the swine flu vaccine was Solus. Yeah, so if there was some form of group that was generated like Solus, like that would be definitely the way to go, like heading into this moment.
You're right there.
I don't think it'll take too long for something like that to be set up, because if you look at since this has started, the amount of organisations out there, like that one Tracy O'Mahony was involved in, like, represent people, like they can be set up quite quickly as well, and the message can be got out. once we kind of get in and get this vaccine or the statutory instrument removed, all that stuff will just fall into place, I think.
Yeah.
Plenty of people out there that are opposed to this in many different ways, like, yeah.
Which isn't that what Tracy O'Mahony is trying to get removed?
Yeah.
And they keep delaying her the whole time.
Well, that's because they're delaying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, once we get in, that channel will stop.
Oh, yeah.
Are you aware of what we're doing here, Alan? We're trying to set up a political party. I know it's a Telegram chat. Have you seen the website?
It was actually Liam Hefferman actually led me on to, and he told me to check you out. I stalked him there a short while ago, just asking about his case and all that sort of stuff, like, you know what I mean. And yeah, and he told me to check you out, and then he said you're setting up and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, so like it seems good. Like he said that like you're trying to kind of bridge the gap between the left and the right. Like that's necessary. Like we need more of a conservative kind of
centrist party. Yep.
And like that's what I'd be like. I'd be very kind of conservative myself. Like, you know what I mean. So. Yeah, so it's perfect, like, in a sense, like it's what's needed. Like if you have a party, like, and they identify themselves as being a certain way from the get-go, like you're screwed. But if you say that it's just directly conservative, like, you're grand, like, you know what I mean, like they can't say anything about that. Yeah. But then at the same time, like, conservatism is under attack big time, like, you know what I mean. Like, but like it's not like under attack from the point that it's wrong. It's just like they kind of steer you towards having like more of the kind of stronger kind of like leftist views, like in that sort of way. But see,
that's what they try and do. They don't want people in the center because they can't attack it. So they come in with all their spurious bullshit. Like, so yeah, we're fully aware of that. Like,
yeah, see, like I kind of like regard myself as being like conservative, but slightly on the left, like in that sort of way. Like I wouldn't like, but like the way I see it is like everybody should have like relative freedom, like, but it has to be under control at the same time. Like you can't give what like one group of individuals like extreme like powers, like, and ultimately like nearly discriminate against the rest of society as a result of that. Like, you know what I mean. But like the whole vaccination thing is a perfect example of where like the virtue signaling like marketing campaign like has effectively thrown everybody against each other. Like has completely split the whole country. Like, but like over the past 10 years, like that's all the Irish government has tried to do, like by making campaigns more about things than it really shouldn't have been, like, in that sort of way. Like for example, like you had gay rights and gay marriage. Then after that, like you had to repeal the age referendum, like, and all of those for building blocks up to what we're having now, like, because the need to divide the country, like, and the need very divisive, like just referendums to effectively build us up to this point. So like, because everybody is so split up, like, because people have argued about such small like petty things, like this is what we're now led to, like, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right on board where we're at. You're well clued up. I just posted a link up in the chat there. At the bottom of it there is the website if you want to go on and check it out. There's everything that we're all about is on there. If you can see that there.
So, Alan, this just started off as a protest group together opposing vaccine passports, and that is still, we're trying to form a party around that single issue to stay on focus and prevent our opposition from being able to label us in any, pejorative way. So our main single issue at the moment across the nation to rally everyone behind is our opposition to the vaccine passports and the discrimination that they create within our society. Now, if we are successful in getting a lot of TDs into the Dáil, we'll broaden our manifesto. But we do see ourselves coming in as conservatives, slightly right of centre.
Yep, yeah, that's perfect.
I think that's a fair description. But I want to be clear, and our only objective is at the moment is to try and stop the vaccine passports.
Well, we'll see. Like, I think it's kind of necessary because, like if you look at the whole political scene at the moment, like they're all wish each other. Like, you know what I mean? Every single bill that's been created and formed at the moment, like that's all being created by people for profit, social democrats, Sinn Féin. Like, and Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil are more than happy to put it through because as long as they have the Liberal left on their side, they're more than happy to bash along with it. Like, they're not being called names or like whatever else. So, like, in a sense, then they need a scapegoat to society to hate, like especially if you're real genuine opposition, like, you know what I mean. But like what I've been trying to do a lot, like over the past like few years, really, is trying to just whitewash like the whole image that's kind of against us, like, you know what I mean, like, because it's completely wrong and it's profound, like, you know what I mean.
Tell me, what part of the country are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm based down in Galway.
Oh, good man. Okay. So, yeah, so we have a candidate in Galway at the moment, but we might run a second candidate in some of the constituencies, or as many as we can. So you sound as if you know your politics, judging by what you've said there. So we will be looking for candidates. So the plan is to just get people on the ballot and give the Irish people an option. You know, so that's the primary objective, is just get the party formed and get at least 39 candidates on the ballot. That's our primary objective, you know, under one single issue, which is our opposition to the vaccine passports. So if we can achieve that, you know, that's the objective. Now, if we can go beyond that, I think everybody here would be happy to try and go beyond that. But if we can achieve our initial objective, it'll be a major achievement, you know, because I think everything is centered. If the vaccine passports cease to exist, we get our freedoms back. And this whole shit show, you know, starts to come to an end, you know. So again, this is just a Telegram group of people together, concerned citizens. You know, none of us have any experience or anything like that in politics, apart from maybe Conor there that's sharing that image at the moment. But the rest of us, you know, we're just ordinary people just coming together, and every day there's more of us.
Yeah,
every day more people volunteer and put their names forward to do different things. It's purely voluntary. We don't even have a bank account. We have nothing. So
I've seen Alan there before when I was on Facebook. I don't know whether you're aware, but he's been pushing back against this thing for a long time now.
Yeah, no, I'm not, sorry. So Alan, you're very welcome to join the party, and if you want to become a candidate, I'm sure we could run a second candidate in Galway. It'd be great to have you. But no pressure.
Well, I've definitely been considering this, like, and like it's just like the first thing, like I was called, like the second I said I was planning going for politics, was I was called a plant, like I was called this and that. But like it's just like the one thing that we have to teach people is just like it's either do it like democratically or go back to like 1916 style, but like we're in no way we're no position for 1916, like, you know what I mean. And I know people like are angry, and I know that people are calling for a revolution, like, and all of that sort of way, like, but like it's not going to be achieved like with like if a few people holding a few posters outside of the stall, like, you know what I mean. Like it's not going to happen on a day like that. So like it's just like we have to just show people that, like, if we get the right people in, like, things will change, like, and it's a matter of just having like a good platform, like just try to avoid as much controversy as possible, like, in that sort of way. But see, like the only controversy that we'd have, or like the only opposition we'd really have, is Antifa and stuff like that. But like the one thing, the way I treat Antifa is like they're effectively the worst form of criticism you'll ever get. Like they're like if there is going to be a bad article in the newspaper at you ever in the future, like that's the way it could happen if you fall into the notoriety of the character that they want you to be. And what I've been doing is I just look at what they're saying about me and I just do the complete opposite, and it seems to work, like, you know. Like if,
Yeah, to be honest with you, they're not even on my radar. This is party's all about, freedom. It's all about, the constitution. We don't call ourselves, we're not anti-immigrants, we're nothing that anyone could frame us in any way, right wing. It's a single issue party centered around the injustice and human rights violation that the so-called vaccine passports create. Now, if somebody wants to somehow figure out that that's somehow right wing, well, best luck to them. We don't have a policy, and if there is a policy on immigration, it won't be in any way, right wing. It'll be pretty mainstream.
the
So, but
government
again,
backstepping.
Sorry.
The government and media seem to be backstepping on the whole far right thing, though. Like they're trying to go back to blaming Q and Anonymous and all that sort of stuff again.
Well, they can point like my background is the James Connolly wing of the Republican Party. How the hell am I far right?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously,
yeah.
No, I'm not joking. Seriously.
No, but anybody that's nationalist now is far right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
I know. It's just ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous.
we're not framing ourselves as being nationalists either. We're just framing ourselves as a freedom, reclaim our freedom.
Constitutionalists. Yeah. No, I agree. We're constitutionalists.
Yeah, we could call ourselves constitutionalists. So I mean,
whatever.
If we form around a single issue and push that single issue and emphasize that single issue is the greatest issue probably affecting our whole generation, what is that issue? Are we going to have to carry, some sort of digital ID into the future, into perpetuity, whereby if you don't get a medical, treatment, agree to a trial medical treatment that your digital, ID is going to expire. You know what I mean? That's what we're looking at. And some sort of future system where you have a digital currency in your, stowed away in your digital, ID, your wallet, your digital wallet. That's the way this is going. And that's fine. If we're going into some sort of super state, federal super state, people should at least have the option to decide if that's what they want. And if they want it, then vote for it. Vote Fianna Fáil or vote Sinn Féin. If they don't want it, vote Reclaim Ireland. So we're only giving people an option. That's it.
Well, there's so many issues to go after. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things. Like you look at the 2008 recession as well. Like they went off and said we built too many houses. Like you fast forward to 2022, like and now we don't have enough houses, and that's the reason why screwing rent and housing.
But Alan, at the moment there's no opposition party. I was talking to a friend of mine that used to work in Leinster House, and I was talking to him today. And we, hadn't spoken to him a couple of years. I was a bit wary about him because he's triple jobbed and all that. Not to have a problem with that. I just thought I suspected he would have thought, that I would be an anti-vaxxer because that's probably my character. But anyway, we got that to one side, and he just said he's an enthusiast. He spends a lot of his spare time in Leinster House in the restaurant and stuff, and he just is an enthusiast. He's into politics, and he said, yeah, the political climate at the moment in Ireland is very stagnant. It's very bleak and stagnant. So there's a lot of appetite. He thinks there's a lot of appetite for a new party, a new national political party. So I'd say any type of party that's new and different, people will be interested to know about. You know what I mean? Because we've lost the Progressive Democrats. Renew has been wound right down into, is one TD. There is no, you've got all the people before profits and Democratic, Social Democrats, but they're small, they're tiny, they're insignificant. A new political party with 30 or 40 new candidates running across, all the constituencies in the country is something new. It's a breath of fresh air politically.
I think it's what people need, like to need, like just working class people, like for the working class, like in that sort of way. Like the country is like we're living in a political monopoly at the moment. Like the whole political scene in Ireland has been monopolised. Like and like the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil Green coalition like is a classic example of that. Like what sort of country has a rotation leadership? Like, you know what I mean? We have.
That's a good point. And traditionally, you would have always had Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael as opposition. Fianna Fáil were always kind of left of centre. Fine Gael were always right of centre. Now they've all moved over and they're operating left of centre. So there is no right of centre party anymore. They're gone. And Sinn Féin is, even worse. So in terms of our freedoms and our future potential freedoms and choices, there's not much out there that's on our side. So the only ones will be whatever this entity is, which hopefully will be called Reclaim Ireland. And that's the only one that's going to be there. So it's just by virtue of the fact that we're very limited with our time and our resources. Everybody here has a full-time job working somewhere else. We can only do this as kind of as kind of voluntary basis. So we have to stick with something that's very, very focused and very narrow, and try and get everyone across the whole country behind it. Now, don't get me wrong. If we can get 15 or 20 TDs into the Dáil, we can broaden our manifesto significantly, because we'd be able to spend the time to do that and attract more people to the party. But at the moment, just in the foreseeable future, we have to stick with the vaccine passports, our opposition to the vaccine passports, and try and create a new entity that's centered around that.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I had to quit my job there last week.
You had to what?
I had to quit my job. Like I had to walk out of my job there last week because yeah, well, he was over the whole face mask thing. Like, see, I was in medical device and stuff like that, and see, like I normally have a beard, so I could wear kind of a beard thing, like I could pull down a mask, like and stick my nose out, like whatever, like so it wasn't too bad. But then, like I went off, I decided to shave, and that was probably the worst thing I could have ever done because I ended up walking out. But yeah, what basically happened was I was getting like very serious side effects of the face masks. Like literally, like my whole right sinus was completely destroyed. Like, you know what I mean? And I just basically told him, like, can you take an instant report of the damage of the injury that I'm receiving from wearing the masks? And they wouldn't do it. So I basically told them to go fuck themselves. Like, so like the way it's going now at the moment, like, is I'll probably have to launch like a constructive dismissal case against them.
Like, I was going to suggest that.
Yeah,
definitely going to suggest that.
Because that's very serious. Like if somebody gets injured at work or something like that, like, but the reason why I think they didn't take like an injury report of what happened to me is probably because they don't have like an occupational health and safety risk done on face masks.
Don't. Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think a lot of places have it.
They don't have, nowhere has. The government didn't even do a risk assessment on the vaccines and lockdowns and the whole lot. That was a legal case Tracy O'Mahony was trying to bring last year. They haven't done any risk assessments on anything. Vaccines, social distance and what that will do to the population, how it will affect them psychologically, the whole lot. None of that has been done. That was an angle she was trying to attack this whole statutory instrument, and I think it's still ongoing, but it's part of our case. So there has been no assessments done by anyone. Maybe you might get private business owners might have ran a risk assessment if their insurance company insisted, but the insurance companies have done them, and they know where they stand. You can be sure of that. That's another thing you have to be wary of as well. If you have life insurance and what have you, are you covered because you're doing this voluntarily? Like, nobody is holding you down and forcing the job or forcing you to wear the mask. Everyone is just kind of complying. So you have to be aware of that as well. So you may have further legal leverage there. Because if you were coerced into it, that'll increase your case, basically. Yeah. I definitely get legal advice on anyone looking to.
Yeah, no, listen, guys, I'm absolutely convinced that this is going to be a legal, quagmire when it all blows over. We're going to be dealing with this for decades. There's going to be so much litigation after this when all this blows. I'm absolutely convinced at many different levels, including, mask wearing, and there's going to be so many cases taken in the future. Once this blows over and this falls apart, the people are going to be very angry and they're going to be mobilizing, in many different ways to seek retribution. Absolutely convinced of that in time.
Yeah, sure. What? Sure took the swine flu victims 10 years to get compensation for the vaccine damage. You know what I mean?
And
Like
they're
it's
in the High Court at the moment, and it'll be
Yeah.
years before they're even heard.
yeah. Like and that's the whole problem is like people don't realize like what they're gonna have to go through, and it's just like when I saw Christian Eriksen collapse on the pitch that time, like I looked at it and I was just like, here we fucking go. Like the psyop is beginning now. Like this is their way of trying to cover up deaths in young men, like literally dropping dead, like because like it was showing up in the studies that like it was all men that were being affected by heart issues, like you know what I mean. So like there's just an awful lot more people like dropping with heart attacks and stuff like that, like and like just stuck on long term like medications, like going into like the hospitals, home care services, all of the rest, like you know what I mean. Like and they're doing that deliberately. Like they literally want to like ruin people's health, like and then enslave them into the medical system. So it's like they're nearly bound to the medical system, or else they're gonna die. Like, you know.
Yeah. It definitely seems that way, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah. Try and kill you first and then cure, but never actually cure.
Well, it's the same thing as the flu vaccines that aluminium and flu vaccines. Like give people songs, like you know, like it costs thousands of euro. Then
mercury, I think, as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There's supposed to be mercury found in the flu vaccines as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me, Paddy.
Definitely. I asked the pharmacist there, he was into me before, and I was chatting to him, and I was saying to him, he was telling me he took the flu vaccine every year because he was giving it out, and I was saying, like years ago, like I studied immunology and all that, and I was saying, but sure, I said, when I was studying that, the professor told us they were like 5 or 6 years behind, like it was a flu strain from 5 or 6 years ago, so what's the point in taking it now, like for a flu? And I said that the thing mutates massively, that's when you're in trouble, and it's too late because you won't have a vaccine for it. But anyway, we were chatting to me, and I said, can I ask you one thing there? Because, with all this conspiracy stuff and the internet, you don't know what's true or what's not. And I said, is there mercury in those things? And he said, yeah, there is, mercuric sulfate. I don't know, was it mercuric sulfate or mercuric oxide? And I said, do you not think that like taking that every year wouldn't be the best for you? And the penny kind of dropped.
Just heavy metal, sure.
Yeah, but like mercury is so toxic, even the smallest amount of it.
Yeah. But this is why they also reckon that there is a bloom here in Ireland as well for dementia as well.
But even as well as that, do you know the way that aluminium is linked to it?
Yeah.
There's aluminium in the water. People don't realise that aluminium sulfate is used to flock the water. What they do is, we'll say the colour in the water, when you put in the aluminium sulfate, it kind of flocculates and drops to the bottom. So you probably have aluminium floating in the water as well as fluoride, and you have your chlorine as well.
Sure, Irish, we'd let hand in, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we can't drink the water here. Like we've been drinking bottled water now for nearly the past 2 years, and like the only reason why I actually discovered the water was so bad is because like when I was living up in Sligo, I was living with this lad. My housemate was American. I was his housemate for about 5 or 6 years, and that was the first thing he noticed was the fluoride in the water. Like he's complaining about it, like so he brought like he always filtered the water, like and all that sort of stuff, like to clean it out, like whatever. Like then, like I kind of moved back home then because he's going from job to job, and I went off. I poured out a glass of water, and I said it, like I said it to the parents, and I was like, "Jesus Christ, can you not smell the smell off that?" Like, and they're like, "Well, what are you on about?" And I was just like, "Are you actually telling me that like you're actually immune to the smell of fluorides?" Like it's amazing. But then when I thought back to primary school, like then I remember that they used to bring in a dentist, and they used to make us like rinse out, or like they used to make us get a little cup of fluoride, like, and rinse our mouths with it and then spit it out, like concentrate fluoride, like, and that would damage your taste buds and everything. So it's like they were making us immune to the taste of fluoride, like literally 6, 7, 8 years old. Like dentists actually coming into the school, like giving us concentrated fluoride, like to apparently clean our teeth, like.
Crackers.
Yeah. There's an awful lot of mad stuff, like. But it's amazing how like everything is actually manipulated to like just slowly deteriorate your health, so you're nearly fully reliant on the health system, like eventually, like, you know.
Yeah.
Sure. You just have to just keep competing against it. That's the main thing, like, you know what I mean. Like, and it's good to see people come together, like, because like it's just that time, like, you know.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, Alan, to be honest. So we've covered most of everything that needs to be covered now. So we have an auditor on board. He's verifying the membership. We've exceeded the membership that requested. He confirmed yesterday he's happy to sign off. So when our General Secretary is back in Ireland, hopefully tomorrow, we'll be filing our papers on Monday with Leinster House. So hopefully we'll be, in the near future, a fully fledged registered, new Irish registered political party. And then we'll just, if we can stick with the single issue in the short term and reach out and pick up more and more people behind us, we can get our candidates. We've 30 candidates already ready to run. We can build a strong, momentum around our candidates in each of the constituencies, and hopefully bring more candidates as we go along. So so at the moment it's a single issue. But so who knows what way it's going to go? But I think everybody agrees
on
that
that single issue, even on the single issue, on the single issue, I still think that you're going to have to run double candidates. So because the rush, even what Alan said there as well, and listen to what's going on and looking at what's actually happening. In the last couple of weeks, people are waking up big time. If you're talking about getting a protest vote,
yeah,
just think of what Sinn Féin got in the last election. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
they ain't going to get that now. None of them are. We're going to get all that and 10 times that again. So we are. It's going to be massive. So it is. And I still reckon.
Yeah.
I still reckon that we have a GE coming later this year. So we have.
What, Paddy?
I'd still reckon we have a general election coming this year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, we'll at least need to consider that as a possibility, and we just keep growing every day and grow our membership and get stronger.
If I was them,
get the party registered. Go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. No, sorry, I didn't realize you were.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I was them, I would do it now, because the dam is likely to break against in their disfavor. So they need to capitalize on whatever capital they have, and they could call one this month. You heard it here first. Sorry, go on ahead.
I'd say now, Conor, to tell you the truth, if they did that, I'd say with all the confusion that's going on, half of them be running to the other side of the world, I'd say.
Well, how are people going to respond when the EU Varadkar is back in power? Like, I think, like, it's literally the most ridiculous concept, like, imagined in politics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's just, oh yeah, like we're not sure, like, which party we have run from the country. So, like, we will just split out between the three of us. Like, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, like, I think there's an awful lot of inquiries about the fact that because Leo Varadkar is actually under, like, criminal investigation at the moment, like it's very like there's questions about him actually being able to take up the role, like, you know what I mean?
We don't think he's going to get back in. We predict, like Chuck was saying there, that they could call an election within the next month or so, or within this month. We think it'll be the middle of the year at the latest. It could happen in April or May, slightly before that. But the confusion, as you pointed out, we don't think it'll happen before then. They're going to need time to kind of smooth everything out and try and make everyone forget what they've done over the last 2 years. So
that's not going to happen.
About the middle of the year. So with a new election, he's not due to get back in until the end of the year. So we don't think he's going to be coming back in. In fact, that criminal case is going to make him go away completely. I doubt he'd be in politics in this country and anyhow after the end of this year.
Well, do you know how we got into politics in the first place? He was when he was in when he was in college, he got a scholarship on the Ireland Funds program, and he was working in America as an intern, like for some the Democrat over in America at the time when Bill Clinton was president of America. So he's been groomed into politics at a very, very early age, like, you know what I mean? Like he was paid, like the American Democrats actually paid for his whole like transgression into politics, like, you know.
Well, he's a Bilderberg, all right. There's no fear of that. And even a bigger Bilderberg than Martin is. Mihol, you know. Look, Ryan is going to be gone anyway. So they're not going to get back in again with him.
Cheers, Paddy. If you hear what I said in this country, it's most likely he'll fuck off to Europe because he's one of Klaus Schwab's little boys. He's one of that party. So don't think he'll be in this country, to be honest. He's going to be running.
See, if you look at Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil as well, and Sinn Féin, like they all have like they're part of European parties as well.
They're all pro EU, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the Irish Constitution, they're not allowed to be. They're not allowed to. So like in a sense, like they're like if they're part of any other party that's outside of Irish interests, like they can't be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like there's no one that's actually defending the Constitution. Like the law is not defending it.
It's against the Constitution for them to do that. Sure.
Yeah, that's fact. Sure, they're ripping it apart. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they've ripped it apart
But
completely.
that's what it's all about. Doing that in every country, you see, to rip apart the Constitution so they get rid of it. So it is and become a proper EU state. And that's what it's all about. The states of EU, you know.
Well, the 1947 Health Act was introduced the same year as the Nuremberg Code. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it was a kill switch for this time. Like the Nazis, like even back then, like thought about like this time of when like they could turn the Constitution against the people. Like, you know.
And then you have the Maastricht Treaty on top of that. The EU treaties itself. There's quite a few of them there. I can't even think of the names of them now, but there is quite a few treaties there that they're actually, by what they're doing at the minute, they're actually violating the whole thing anyway. Every one of them. So they are. So they've been made pay.
See that, guys. Just news there, just on the Independent. Logged positive antigen on portal won't qualify for recovery search. Interesting.
Yeah, but so they're trying to get rid of the recovery cert anyway. So yeah, before they have the pass in, you see, you know, because the simple reason, you see, they're proven, the scientists and everything else are proven that your immunity to COVID itself has massive longevity. So within that in itself, then why would you need a vaccine? You just go out and get your COVID. You recover from it. You're done. You're sorted. You won't need a vaccine. And that's why they want rid of it.
Yeah, but I mean, anyone with half a brain can see that's fucking, it's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And that also indicates, even more of a reason for us to form as a party,
And you see, along with that, you see, like I said, getting rid of the recovery pass itself. And this is another reason why they're linking everything to the booster. So it is.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through that article, Paddy. I'll save it on that, that new group that I set up there, the private one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, because this will fall into, it's crazy, like, on the 16th.
So, are you guys are you thinking of doing any physical meetings or anything at some point or anything like that? Or?
Oh yes, Alan. Yes, absolutely. No, we will hopefully become a fully fledged political party if we can get the membership. And if it's a grassroots movement at the moment that it started as a group on Telegram, but will hopefully turn into a political party. Will still be a political party on Telegram initially, but we hope to branch out beyond Telegram, by setting up commons or associations in each of the counties, which it will start off as a Telegram group in each of the counties. Will be centered around the candidates, the volunteer candidates, and then we'll hopefully then, work on national campaigns then, So yeah, in time, yeah, absolutely. It depends. Every day we get stronger. If enough people get involved, could do marches and everything at some stage in the future,
Are you planning on putting there's a protest happening over the weekend? Are you planning on having anyone there to represent the party?
Good question. Not yet, Red. But I think as soon as we get registered, definitely be proactive towards that. All the focus at the moment is still being just setting up everything and all the paperwork and constitution and manifestos and recruitment. And once we get the party registered, it'll free up a lot of time for the original people that are involved. And again, I just have to emphasize, we're all just part-time.
One of the main reasons there as well, you see, that we couldn't go to represent the party is because they would literally start demonizing you straight away before you even get registered. So it'd be safer to get registered and then work away. So
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I'm here every day working on the website, working on all of the administration, the paperwork. I wouldn't have time to go out protest, and if I did, everything would grind to a halt here. I wouldn't be no membership.
Yes.
So so personally, I have to keep working at this every day. Now, if it gets busy enough and someone else can come in and help, and maybe somebody else can come in and help then as well, then I freeze my time up to go out and be able to do these other things. So just it's great to think that a political party is just a political party, but there's quite a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that most people don't probably realize. Logo design, websites, form to mail scripts,
the paperwork.
Yeah, auditing now as well, regular auditing, and then financial auditing. There'll be legal argument, GDPR, so much stuff.
Yes, the most important thing is community engagement, and I have a few ideas. And the one thing I noticed is if you look at Sinn Féin, People for Profit, Social Democrats, and all of those sort of stuff, like they all get people into their groups through just different groups, like for example, people for profit, like they get people through like anti-racism, like and all of that sort of stuff, like, you know what I mean? So like there has to be different ways to get into the community to kind of show that you kind of stand with them, like, you know what I mean? Like,
we'll do that totally. We'll find causes and then we'll support those causes. Absolutely.
I have a few ideas anyways for in that regards, like,
Good man, yeah, great. But don't get me wrong. If you join the party now, we're a little bit stronger. You know what I mean? Now I'm here. I'm here. I'm working away here every day at the party. Signing up members. Maintaining the forms. again, the focus at the moment is mostly administrative because we're working on registering the party, and we've a lot of work to do to get that done. But once that's achieved, that frees up a certain, my time. So phase 2, once we move from phase 1 into phase 2, it will allow us free up an awful lot more time because most of the paperwork will have been done and the party will have been registered. So it's like, and if you do join the party, which would be great, you're somebody else that can help contribute in a small way. And if everybody does that and the party continues to grow and a percentage of the members start to contribute, towards the growth of the party and towards the management of the party, well, then the party gets stronger,
Yep. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure,
so
sure.
again, I mean, if you look at, Sinn Féin is what, 35 TDs, each TD would have at least 2 office staff full time. So, you know what I mean? So they would have at least 70 people every day working, and that's not including their parliamentary party. So they could have 100 people every day working on their party at different levels. You know what I mean? Like we've one, maybe 2 maximum, and they're only part-time. So on a resource base, we have nothing in comparison. They raised $200,000 on Monday's fundraising in the US a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? So we don't even have a bank account yet. So we have to be realistic in what we can achieve. To be honest with you, from my perspective here, 7 weeks into this whole thing, if we can get the party registered and if we can get 39 people on the ballot under one coherent strategy, single issue strategy, I think we'll have achieved a massive amount. Now, if we can go beyond that, and get more and build the grassroots and grow, I'm happy to go do all that, no problem. And we can expand then into all of these other issues, like the issues regarding the farmers with the punitive carbon reductions they have to make. The truckers with all the VAT increases as a result of excise duty on fuel, which is again linked back to the same issue. The fishermen with their reduced quotas. Listen, I'd love to tackle all of these topics. But the way we'll try to tackle them initially is by inviting people from those, cohorts or communities in and becoming candidates and helping to represent their community. And so if we're all under one popular banner and we garner a protest vote, we've a chance of getting a high number of our candidates into the Dáil, and then we can start to enact change. Also, once we do that, we'll achieve subvention from the government, the central exchequer. So we'll be able to have people actually who'll be able to work every day and at least earn enough money to pay their bills. So I'm advocating for, if I do get elected, I'll work for the average industrial wage. I don't need a TD salary. I don't want a TD salary, and any extra money I'll donate back to the party. So that'll be my stance, but it'll be up to every individual to decide what way they want to do it. You know what I mean? So again, it's hard to work at something when you're not getting paid, when you're competing against other people who are getting substantially paid and have substantial resources. So it really is a David and Goliath scenario,
Well, the one thing that we have to do as well is get the youth on our side and get the college students on our side, and just say, look, guys, like when once you finish college, like it's not going to be easy, like and the majority of you are going to end up leaving the country because there's not here for you, and like it might be a matter of just giving them the very hard facts, like from the get go, like it's just like wages are low, like home ownerships have dropped, like you're heading into a very dark Ireland, like and just like it's one thing that's not done. Like they'd like to keep them like distracted with issues which are more based around virtual signaling than like around issues which like actually affect your future, like in that sort of way,
Yeah, substantive issues. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
They're never told the truth.
No.
That's not the truth. Like I've no problem going outside NUIG, GMIT, like UL, Dublin, like just send out leaflets with all the hard facts, like just show them like this is the future you're looking into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
that's reality.
Yeah.
Because it's not done enough. like the only focus that I see done on the on college students at the moment is more orientated around like just like more kind of populist based movements like BLM, like then you have like the more so just kind of eco warriors, like, and all of that sort of stuff. Like, sure, like I remember when I was in college, like we'd have like maybe about 5 or 6 big mass buses like organised by the student union. Like if there's any protests on at all, like, and they would hop them onto a bus, send them up to Dublin for a protest, like, you know what I mean? So like it's like we have to kind of steer them away from getting drawn into issues that the government want them to be fighting against, keeping them distracted again, like what's really happening, like, you know.
Well, again, they're just a cohort of the population. I mean, and they're young. I mean, when I was that age, I never thought about vaccines. Oh, God, I would have, back when you're that age, you used to be able to get a job, taking vaccines, and you get paid for doing it. I remember hearing stories about that back in the 80s and 90s. People were actually working by just getting jobs. Sure, you don't think about your future, your potential side effects or risks associated with taking these. But at the end of the day, the main issue here that they even resonated with the guy I was talking to earlier is that if you miss your job, for whatever reason, your vaccine passport's going to expire and you won't be able to get into their nightclub, or you won't be able to, go to the pub, so are you happy that for the rest of your life? So again, it all centers back to the passport. It really does, and affects everybody equally, Yeah, don't get me wrong, Alan. If you come on board and join the party with your knowledge and that, we'd be happy to reach out. But the party's only as strong as the people involved. It gets stronger the more people who join. Sorry, Paddy.
No, I was just saying, no matter who you are, what you are, if they keep this vaccine passport in, it's going to affect people in every aspect of their lives.
Yeah. And that's really what we're fighting about. That is the single issue at the moment. Don't get me wrong. And the only reason I'm saying that, because we just have we're so fragile in terms of resources. It's we don't have the ability to literally, fight on anything beyond that at a national level. For obvious reasons. Now, if we had a couple of $100,000 in the bank and we had people working full time every day, we could run and reach out. But don't get me wrong. Like, as a grassroots movement, if we attract people who have a particular interest in a particular subject, like Tom there, is an interest in, he works in that industry or in that part of the economy, housing, and then we had Robert, who was here earlier as well, and he's an interest as well. So people, who have an interest in a particular area of the economy or area of society, and they're knowledgeable on that topic, they become a kind of a quasi, spokesperson for the party on that topic. And that's the key. It really is. Like, Tom runs a stock of 600 homes in the greater Ulster area. So he knows his stuff. You know what I mean? That's his baby. Now, my background is military, so I could become the military spokesperson. But after that in business, my skill set are pretty weak beyond those topics. And history, of course, a couple of others. And politics, kind of.
Just to show, for instance, there, like you looked at Minister for Fisheries, like we're talking about tonight. The same man has never set a foot on a different boat in his life. The only boat he's ever set his foot on is a bloody ferry.
Yeah.
That's
Charlie McConaughey.
We want to put people into these interests. Yeah, we want to put people into these that are from that industry itself.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's my point.
I'm more qualified than the two previous Minister for Health. Simon Harris, he's not qualified in healthcare science. Like, he's not qualified in healthcare science. Like, I have a level 8 in pharmaceutical science, and I've been in the field for about 5.5 years. So it's just
good man.
Yeah, so it's mad.
So listen, please join the party. It's free to join, and we won't share your information anywhere. You become a member. And we're trying to set up a model that'll be direct democracy model. So everybody in the member of the party will have a vote on the direction the party's going. But and again, I mean, judging by what you've said so far, you definitely are candidate quality. So
I mean,
we have a volunteer at the moment in Galway, but we could seek the. Now I know Catherine Conley's in Galway, and I wouldn't like to upset her too much. She's kind of my role model to a degree. But yeah, we have to be serious too.
Who's planning on running for Galway?
Richard Murphy, Matthias Murphy.
Richard, nice to know him. Yeah, well, is he Galway East or Galway West?
Good question. Yeah, I think he's Galway West.
Yeah, I'd be Galway East.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
You'd be very welcome. And to be honest with you, Richard would probably rather not run, to be honest. But he's put his name forward. But he's in pole position. So we kind of made a rule from the beginning. Whoever volunteered originally it would be their decision. We have to be loyal, and loyalty is very important. So it's his decision. But if he was like, if you were happy to do it, and he was happy to support you, well then you become the poll candidate. But that's for another day. Because think about it. I mean, I know Richard would rather not run.
Just for the technical details, there's two constituencies in Galway. There's Galway West or Galway East, so it works out perfectly.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought Galway was one constituency.
No, two. I forgot because it's been a while about a year since I looked at it, and I brought up the old constituency. I brought up the Wikipedia page for the old constituency, but then I changed it. I realised that the last election for the old constituency was in the 30s, so I changed it to Galway. I remembered then that there's Galway West and Galway East. I'll bring it up again. I'll show you in a second.
There you go.
Yeah, well, just looking at the map. I mean, we have our own map, and that's
some of the maps are some of the maps on Wikipedia are out of date. Yeah. Well,
yeah. Okay. Well, I still did.
I know for a fact because two friends ran. One friend ran in Galway West, and one friend, Darrell Flaherty, ran in Galway West, and David O'Reilly ran in Galway East. So I know for sure I can guarantee you there are two. How do I get the video? How do I share my screen? There we go.
Yeah, I think David O'Reilly, he was Galway East. Like he's only up the road from myself, and Darrell Flaherty, then he was Galway West.
There you go. There's Galway West, and you can see that that's current because that was the 2020 general election. The other one, Galway East.
Yeah, well, on our map, I think Galway East is 11, is it? It's constituency number 11. It's called Galway Roscommon.
No, that's another one. That's the one over here. You see where that's the one to the top right, diagonally above it, where Roscommon is. Galway Roscommon is the third constituency for Galway.
Right, so show me the second one then. Sorry.
I'm showing you Galway East there at the moment. Can you see it?
That's 11.
I don't know the numbers.
That's 11. I'm calling that Galway Roscommon. That's the way it's called on the Leinster House documentation. It's all right. We're just calling it something different. It's all right, Conor. It's grand.
Okay, yeah. And there's Roscommon Galway. Sorry, the third one is Roscommon Galway because it's mainly Roscommon. It's all of Roscommon with a small slice, the most easterly slice of Galway, and that's.
Yeah, well, if you look at the map we have on the group, I'll reshare it there now. Yeah, I'll just reshare it there now, and that's so that's the one I'm working off. Now I'm not saying I'm right, but I think I am. But there it is. There you see it there now. Delays. So that's the map I'm working. So you were talking about constituency number 11. Is that right?
I don't know the numbers for them.
On the group, you see our group.
Yeah.
Can you see the group there on Reclaim Ireland group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, you see the map there. I just had to reshare it there. And it's
yes.
Constituency number 11.
11 is Galway East, 10 is Galway West, and 8 is Roscommon Galway.
Okay, grand. Okay, we're clear on that. Okay, that's grand. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so Wow, Alan, you'd be very welcome to provisionally volunteer to become a candidate in Galway East. I would definitely like to invite you to consider the thought. And now, the definition of a volunteer VC, a volunteer candidate at the moment is, I just take your details, put you on the list, you become a provisional volunteer. Your information or data won't be released anywhere. And then you will then become the primary volunteer in that constituency. Now we've 30 so far, so you'd be volunteer number 31, and it'd be great to have you. And that covers another constituency. It'd be great news because we haven't had anybody since the new year. We haven't looked for anybody, in fairness, but we haven't had anybody as well. And to be also equally fair, no one has volunteered. So, but no one has pulled out either. We still have 30, and we had that. And I've been speaking to everybody, and they're still all on board, which is great.
Have you got somebody for Mayo?
I thought we'd lose a couple. No.
I've got somebody in mind for you. I'll send you a private message.
Yeah, well, yeah. If there is, yeah, we'd like to have one candidate in each constituency, and that would strengthen our party even more.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the party gets stronger, but the more people who join and the more people who volunteer.
That's it. And Alan can't say no now either. He's talked himself into a job.
I know, I wouldn't say that now, but.
Yes, if you need a candidate for Galway East, like I'll definitely help out, and we'll think there's not enough ideas I've had anyways, like, you know what I mean. And so, like, it would be kind of nice to be able to start on something fresh, like, you know what I mean, and all that sort of stuff, and like, and just be part of the structure that's kind of organized and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. Well, let me explain again. This just started off with a very simple idea, and then we moved to the model of, registering the party and then just informally nominating volunteer candidates. And there's loads of them here. There's Eddie there, NB is a candidate. Paddy there is a candidate. So there's going to be candidates at different levels. I'm a candidate this way as well. I'm North Kildare candidate. So some people here are candidates. Now, I'd rather somebody else came along and volunteered to take over the position in North Kildare. But if no one else does, I will let my name go forward, because somebody has to, So that's where we were, and that's where we still are. So it's all about getting names and people's on the ballot, so that when people go into East Galway, and it could be 6 months, it could be a year, who knows? They'll have somebody that they can vote for. You know what I mean? That's not mainstream. That's different. That's an possible opposition party, and it will be. We won't have a lot of coverage of that, but people will probably know that we're, opposed to the vaccine passports. And if that becomes a single greatest issue, we'll win a landslide. We'll capture a massive protest vote, and we'll all go down in history. And we'll be having dinners in Leinster House in a year's time, and we'll be looking back at this time. But hey, I don't know what the future holds. But one thing is certain: it can't be too negative. I think the most, lawful thing you can do within any society is run for office. It can't be anything more. That's the way I was brought up. You know what I mean? We live with our forefathers died for us. You know what I mean? We all have the right to vote. Everyone in the country has the right to vote once they're over the age of 18. You know what I mean? So it's inherent right, and anyone can run for office. Now, you have to be over 21, Alan. It's the only thing I have to say to you. You sound as if you are, but just in case you're not, that's the only requirement. Sorry?
I was over 18.
No, not for. It is for local and it is for European, but it's 21 for the Dáil, unfortunately.
Right.
Okay. Sorry?
I'm 32, so it should be all right.
All right, you're just above the threshold.
Just scraping in there.
The biggest is taken off me, I'm just out of the pram, but sure, I'll get there.
You will. Don't be bothering you. Good.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up here at the moment, but if you like, well, what I'll do is if you want to send me a message direct anyways, or if you plan on meeting at some stage, like, are any of you planning on going to the protest, to the Independence Day on the 21st?
I'm not anymore.
No, not yet. We can't get active until we're registered. You know, I think the whole dynamic will change once we're registered. I just personally, you know, I just want to wait until but everyone else is just tied up at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to, but I can't, unfortunately.
Sure, it doesn't stop anybody going in a private capacity.
Oh yeah, no, but even in a party capacity, I don't mind, but we're not registered yet, so it's not.
No, but what I'm saying is, anybody wouldn't stop anybody going in a private capacity.
No, I wouldn't stop anybody going full stop, even in a public capacity, or party capacity, but the party's not registered, so.
I understand.
Alan, I'm about to send you a private message here. If you can reply to me with your contact details, email address, I'll put you down under the volunteer candidates. I need your home address as well to register as a member. Now, all of this data will be kept secret. It's, you know, even the auditor, you know, it's not been shared with Leinster House or anything like that.
That's grand. That sounds about. It's no problem at all.
Yeah,
it's all hidden and it's guarded by a fucking Rottweiler.
Yeah, and Paddy can attest to that.
I'll be honest, I'm sure they know all about me now at this stage. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but again, you know, this is not. We're not trying to set up, you know, some sort of secret society that's going to subvert the state. I mean, nobody here at all is calling for anything unlawful. Everything that we're doing is perfectly lawful. We're registering a political party and we're going to run candidates in the next election against the incumbent career politicians. And guys, you can't do anything more lawful than that, in my humble opinion. Unless I woke up in North Korea this morning and I don't know it yet.
Well, it's our duty to anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
So great stuff, Alan. It's great to have you on board. You're candidate number 31 officially, which is great. So I'll be publishing the fact that, you know, we've a candidate now for Mayo East, and at any stage in the future, you'll have the ability to change your mind, of course.
I know it's grand. I'll do my best for you, anyways, because it's important now. I think it's just what's needed, and sort of like something fresh, there's a few people like Conor himself, like you kind of experienced how things are kind of in the political scene and how the media operates and PR works and all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot of things that I've seen over the past few years that will kind of help pretty much get past a lot of that crap, you know what I mean. And
it sounds as if you've been at the coalface in terms of activism.
Yeah, it's just if we have the people behind us, if we have the organisation behind us, there's 2,000 people in that group. If those 2,000 people came together, Jesus Christ, there's something there's amazing things that can be done in this country, you know what I mean? There's so much skill, talent, we all have it in us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, more and more people are becoming disillusioned, you know, and anecdotally, everything that you guys have said, what Paddy said earlier, the number of people out there who are becoming more and more disillusioned with the current, you know, setup. And the problem is, there's just nobody on the horizon, nobody there, no new party. At least this will be a new party. And people can say, well, something, a breath of fresh air, you know, so. You know, we're not perfect. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to give people an option to say, listen, if you want to move into, you know, some sort of European super state where you have to carry a digital ID with you everywhere, and if your battery runs out or that you won't get access to, there's a good one for you guys. If your battery runs out on your phone, you won't get access to the local pub. You know what I mean?
Or drop it, break it. You can't control the screen, whatever.
Yeah,
somebody robs it.
Imagine planning your whole evening and walking up to your local restaurant and then your battery and your phone dies. Shit, you can't go in. You know,
is the same thing with the Green Party planning these power cuts and everything else? How are you going to charge
it? Never even thought of that, Paddy.
By a generator. I can run my electric car as well.
Alan, did you get my private message? I just want to try and get at least your mobile number before you go.
Yep. 2 seconds. Oh, two.
Good man. Guys, I'm just saying everything's okay because God has joined the group.
Yeah, I've seen that actually a couple of times.
Who the hell is that? God has joined the group every
He's keeping
evening.
an eye. He's keeping an eye. The things that are going.
He knows
He's
what
actually he's a bot. That lad's a bot.
Yeah.
Not sure how he's managing to do it. He joins every day, at least 4 or 5 times.
I was wondering. I've seen that a couple of times. Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there.
It's a bot, so delete him out of the list. It could be anything. It could be spyware, the whole lot.
Yeah, but I have group what do you call it set up on it. I need to check it. It's probably not running here. I haven't seen it in a while.
Well, then that should really worry you. Yeah, it should really worry you then if he's able to get past that and he's about.
Oh no, it mightn't be running on the chat at the moment. It's run, yeah, and I'll check it, but it's all right. It's not. It's the worst thing they can do is spam us, but we'll be active.
But just the JJ, 1 second there. What if it is really God and we can come out?
That's true. We don't want to be, accused of deleting God.
Antichrist. You don't want to be accused of being Antichrist.
I'd take you, Eddie, now, wouldn't it?
I have those details sent on to you now. Sorry, who's the main admin? Reclaim Ireland. Sorry, what's your name? I never got your name.
Yeah, I'm AJ. Sorry, Aidan Joseph. AJ. Call myself AJ.
How's it going?
Yeah, so good man. Yeah, thanks.
You're in. You're not getting away now, lad.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you there. That's grand. Yeah, so don't worry. Nothing will be shared. So great to have you, and it's great to have a new candidate. So I'll announce that tomorrow. So welcome, Alan. It's great to have you. So I'll sign you up as a member as well, by the way, so you don't have to fill out the form twice. And Alan, administration here.
Alan, does you have been Galway East? Does that mean you're close to the coastline?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty close to David O'Reilly. I'd say David O'Reilly's only maybe about 4 or 5 kilometers up the road from myself. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, it's just the next real hot weekend that comes up, especially long weekend. We're all heading to yours.
Something tells me the hot weekends are a long way off.
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, I'm surprised Richard isn't around this evening, He's usually around, He's having a problem with his phone, is he? He seems to be having his phone. He's usually here every evening.
I thought that was last week you had a problem with. He was fixing it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him. He's a regular here, but he hasn't been on as much, So so that's great. So but you guys need to get familiar with each other because he still is the candidate for Galway West,
Yeah. Well, what I like to do is I'd like to meet and see if us can kind of strategize and create a plan for Galway, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be people like David O'Reilly and Conor Rafferty who will probably run in Galway East and Galway West again, you know what I mean? So
as independents.
I say they'll probably go as independents, yeah. And but at the same time, I'd like to keep things kind of friendly with everybody, you know what I mean? I'd be engaging in that way, and if people are willing to work in such a way that we can completely abolish from Gael and Fianna Fáil, then we'll do it,
Yeah. Well, what I would propose would be we'll set up strategic alliances. I think Catherine Conley's in Galway West. So we'll be approaching her and asking, followers of say Richard to give her their number too, and the same for you in Galway East with Dara and Dara Flaherty and the other chap. So yeah, we can do all that. You can do that locally,
Yeah.
But definitely, I think, as a party, I can't speak for everybody, but I would be proactive personally against that. But I don't think anyone would disagree with that strategy, which is, I just wanted a question for you, Alan. Do you know if you're on the electoral register or not?
Oh, I have my registered to vote, is it?
Yeah.
I'm registered.
Oh, good man. Okay, grand. Okay, so
there's an awful lot of campaigns like trying to get people to like deregister, and I felt that was being done intentionally to like effectively screw people up in a situation of where there could be a democratic change made. Like, and it's so strange, like because there's groups being set up and there's just people planning on going for politics, like, and then you had aggressors then who were kind of like anti the whole thing, like, you know what I mean? So it's like
listen, we're coming across that on a regular basis, and I'm the same. I can't understand why people would want to, like, the only way you have a change in the system is by employing it. Yeah, from within. I know it's not a perfect scenario, but I mean, who serves to win if everybody disassociates themselves or delinks from the system?
Ones they're already in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't even understand that. Listen. You can go off grid and live in the country, but you still go down and vote. They're not mutually exclusive. It's possible to do both.
Like I told these people straight out. Like I said, like the only way that could actually work is if you create a new constitution and if you get people to sign up onto that constitution. Yeah. Like you can't get people to like deregister and not register onto something else, because then they're completely disempowered. Like if you create a new registry, then you go from there. Like, so, like, it's just there's a lot of flaws in this, like, you know what I mean? Like, because like the only way that people will have true power, like an empowerment, is if people do it as a group and together, like, you know what I mean? Like if one person deregisters, like, it won't do anything, like, in that sort of way, like it has to be like an alternative, and didn't have an alternative, like, you know, like, and that's the problem.
Absolutely. But the issue is, at the moment, like, if I deregister here in North Kildare, like, the incumbent TD is going to be so happy with that, because he knows
you can't vote against them.
I can't vote against them. Yeah,
exactly.
But you see, the thing is, it also brings you back to what you were saying there earlier on, AJ, as well. Our forefathers fought and died, so we could vote. Exactly. Now, if you're deregistering, you're throwing that back in our faces.
Oh, I know if I was a Fianna Fáil TD here in North Kildare, and I know him personally, James, and he's a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he's, he would be he'd be happier to hear of people deregistering than people, running against him. Far happier. And anyone that does that, I mean, they're only serving the interest of the incumbent government, which is exactly what they want you to do. It's just lunacy. Like, by all means, go off grid, set up your parallel society, and grow food, and do all of those things. But don't leave an open goal for the government to just get re-elected again. It's just, oh my God.
But sure, all you're doing is inviting pure tyranny into the country on top of your own people.
Oh, you are, Paddy. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind that these same people in the next breath will say that we're going to do something illegal. You know what I mean? Like, which is even worse, because not only are you you're detaching yourself and removing your own ability to make change, you're actually putting yourself into danger, because now you can be framed as as a belligerent, as someone that's somebody that's like the Offences Against the State Act is still there, guys. It's very, very powerful. It's still there, and if you go on here and you say you're going to do this or say you're going to do that, and it can be construed, it can be, and you know what I mean. So I mean, people, and why would you go through all of that hardship of ended up in jail? When all you have to do is walk down to the ballot and put an X beside the candidate that you like or dislike, or obviously you like. I mean, that's the easiest route here. That's so much easiest route. Like, all those other options are options, don't get me wrong, but they're so much more unrealistic and so much more difficult. It's the easiest thing to do.
Well,
You know,
if
easiest thing to do.
you have to RAF over as fast as possible. Like, and if you look at the situation in Kazakhstan, like it's clear demonstration that like another country all its rules are under, like in that sort of way. Like Russia has interests in Kazakhstan in the same way that the UK has interests in Ireland. So like you're not going up against the Irish Defence Force, like you're going up against the RAF, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they'll have paratroopers down here in 15 minutes, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like it's just people have to be very careful and have to be very careful with what to say in videos and what to say online. Like I'll be honest, like I disagree completely against people going outside politicians' houses. Like I'm not sure what your stance is on that. And
no, I agree. I don't agree with it either. Personally, I don't.
And so like now they're after opening it up for a situation of where like now the taxpayers can be paying for 24-hour protection over politicians. Like go over empty threats, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? Sure.
Yeah, because from both perspectives. Don't get me wrong. Again, you have to ask though, who's encouraging people to do all this stuff? You know, I mean, and what is the end goal? You know, what's the end goal? Our end goal is very simple. We're going to run candidates. We're going to formulate policies. You know, if our candidates get elected, they're going to, you know, we're going to rescind certain laws that just the current establishment or party or executive have brought in. We're going to rescind them. So I mean, it's straightforward. I mean, it's perfectly lawful. You know, talking about, you know, doing anything else that's subversive. You know, especially with some of these new laws, the online harms bill law, this new bill that Helen McEntee was working on. You could find yourself in trouble. You know, you really could.
But let's not forget as well. They had planned on beefing up the security anyway for themselves when this crashes on them.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a great excuse for them because people are outside their homes and this and that and the other. But yet the guards were never called to it. You know?
Yeah, well, the only thing I'm going to say to you is a lot of this legislation, there's a new bill in the UK, the online harms bill, is similar one going through our office at the moment. They're all very similar, guys. It's all coming from the top down.
Of course it is.
You know, so and that's designed to, you know, to to go after people who are, you know, subversive in inverted commas. But the definition of subversive now is anybody here that's threatening the guards or threatening the, you know, the politicians. That can be construed as subversive, you know. So you could find yourself in jail, you know.
Yeah, well, it's just it's silly, like, and like it's just. See, like I fully believe that those people got led into a trap because there are traps set up, like there are traps like set up to lead into situations of character assassination and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a perfect example of it. And there are plants who will do that. They'll give a mad wild idea, like, and then people go off and follow them, and then they're fucked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah. You're right.
For the sake of like 2,000 or 3,000 views on Facebook, like then like somebody's been character assassination online, like some lad, like some man who's never had like attention on before, like it's now being like insulted by people, like, and all of this sort of stuff, like, and like I want to avoid situations like that, like, because like the way I see it is like if you followers, like you're responsible for them, and there's a lot of people who didn't care. Like if there's some man like at a protest, if he got arrested, if he had 3 children at home, like over something stupid, like he'd be arrested, like, and then you see him too, so like coming after his children, like, and it's like we have to think about things like that, like
absolutely. Like, yeah. No, Alan, this is going to be a fully fledged mainstream political party. You know, urban. We can't welcome radicals, unfortunately. We have to be moderates. We're Democrats here and moderates. You know, that's our core values. You know what I mean? So we can't encourage any form of extremism. We can't. It's just, you know, so we have to be careful. So, you know, everything that we, you know, propose will be fully, you know, lawful. You know, and again, we could do everything within the framework, you know, of the law. There's no reason why we have to go beyond it. System's there. You know, anyone can run for the Dáil. You just have to be over the age of 21 and hold a passport. You don't even have to be born in Ireland. You can be someone who came into Ireland and got awarded a passport for, under some sort of program, and you can still run for the party. So I mean, I personally happily welcome anybody from any background, once they're a citizen of the country, to run for the party as well. By the way, no matter what color or creed they are, I don't care. I'm sure everyone will agree with that.
Yeah. Like there's some people even telling me, like, on the more kind of side of things, like they're basically telling me that like I'm not Irish, like this sort of stuff, and that I have to be here for like another 80 years or something like that. Like,
I know.
Like it's
no. Everybody that's living in Ireland, that has, that's here, we're all here inhabiting this Ireland together. So whether you were born here or you came here recently or whatever, the only thing is, from my perspective, is we just need to have some sort of review as to how many we could take. If we can take many, many more, I'm open-minded. Don't get me wrong. As Tom was saying earlier, we do have depreciating birth rate, so we do need to bring in foreign workers and people to live here and contribute to our society. So we're not going to be. I'm very moderate and in my opinions, and I'd be welcoming to people with genuine refugees, very considerate, and because that's exactly what happened to the Irish. I mean, we were starved out of this country. We were made to go to every other country, many other countries, and we weren't welcome there either. So it's not fair for us to do the same again.
Exactly. They serve some purpose to build America, pretty much. Like they're sick that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I've read about a lot of very distinct disturbances in America because of the Irish, and they were displacing labor and displacing housing and so on. So we're the same. So you can't blame the people. I don't blame the people coming here. I blame the feckers that are destabilizing their countries, making them to come here.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like for example, if you look at the asylum seekers who are coming over at the moment, sure like that was all done on purpose. Like it's effectively like a professional human trafficking operation. Like, you know what I mean? That's what they're doing. Like, and they're actually displacing people, and then like to make it like attractive for people to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like say if somebody like went off and told you, like, if you go to America, like if you arrive there like illegally, like you'll get all this stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like you were like, Jesus Christ, sure get a house in 4 months, like whatever, like. So like it's if people make an attractive parcel, it's gonna attract them. Like, it isn't necessarily their fault, but like it was decorated in such a way that like the system was designed to be exploited, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And my own policy would be, opinion would be, to just do a review, the volume of housing stock that we have, and build a figure around that. This is what we can take, and we're happy to do that, and especially, and give a priority to people from real war-torn countries, like Syria and stuff like that. And they get preference. That's my own personal opinion. A point system, something like what they have in the US, and try to stop this. This abuse of the asylum system, that people, But anyway, there are other issues. But, again, I don't think anyone could frame me as right wing. And if they do, fair fucks. I'm not even a nationalist.
Doesn't matter what the media do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all what the media do. It does matter what the voters think. They're the ones that matter. They're the ones we're talking to. They're the ones we're thinking of. They're the ones we're counting on. So to hell with what the media do. They'll play their tricks. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah, they will. But I have to say, from my experience, is that they will wait for us to trip ourselves up. You know what I mean? And there's no reason why we will want to do that. And as I said, we're not at all extreme. Like, none of us here. Some of us are actually foreign nationals who are living here. So it's going to be, so, I mean, 2 out of 5 people on the national executive are not Irish. How can they say that?
The way I see it is, it's all about PR. Like every single time you're on a live stream or on a video or anything like that, like treat it as if you're talking to the public. Like treat it as if you're talking to the
Oh yeah,
world.
no, you're right. Totally, Alan. Absolutely, high standards.
And
Transparency and high standards, and and moderation. We need to just try and attract people who are moderate. And if people are extreme, just as a group, try and encourage them to be moderate. So the party spokesperson, like we're talking about having talking points. But again, if we stick with the single issue initially, and frame our communications around the single issue, it doesn't give them much of an opportunity to frame us in any of these other, negative contexts, Sorry, that's my opinion. But don't get me wrong, it's hard for us to say that and then think that we can grow into a massive movement and not expand beyond that. We're going to have to do that. But as I said, I don't see us in any way, personally, being any way close to even what people would determine as right wing. I don't have right wing politics. I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative, but I'm a moderate as well. That's just my age. To say 52 is the magical age, that everyone becomes a conservative at the age of 52 for some strange reason.
well, you have a point, and like it's just like if people want to be controversial, like then that's their thing. Like that's some people's style. Like that's how they get your attention, is controversy. Like, but like it's it's better to get known for like getting in there, getting the job done. Like we're here for you, and these what the problems are. Like we want to like sort this out for you now, because like we're all gonna be affected. Like, you know what I mean? And like and not letting go of that. Like, you know what I mean? And like the one thing I noticed about an awful lot of protests and stuff like that is like an awful lot of people are running on high energy, like, and they have so much focus and so much energy like on that particular day. Like they think that like massive major things are going to happen, like has an outcome of that protest. Like, but I don't think that like this is a long term kind of strategy. Like, and then people get frustrated, like, and then they get like they get like upset about it, emotional, like. So like it's more so like showing people that like things are always being worked on, like there's always progress, like this is what's being done, like this is what's being sorted, like we're coming at this, like coming at like 50 different angles, like in that sort of way, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, these changes have been rolling in for decades. So anybody's very naive that thinks that they can be undone in a couple of Saturdays, waving a tricolour on a couple of Saturdays. It's going to take a bit more than that.
It is.
That's part of it. That's part of it, but it's going to take a bit more.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's great chatting to everybody. So I think it's getting late now, guys. To save our energy for tomorrow, maybe another day. We fight for another day.
That's what I'm not. Yeah.
So Alan, great to have you. Great to have you on board, Alan. So welcome. And we're here. We're going to try to be here every evening at 8 o'clock. So you're very welcome. Continue the conversation again tomorrow, of course.
That sounds.
And everyone else is very welcome.
Alan, could you bring Liam, please, next time? If you're coming back, would you ask Liam to come?
Sorry?
If you're coming back tomorrow, or the next time you're coming back into the chat, would you bring Liam Heffernan with you?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good night,
I'll send
lads.
a message and I'll ask him back.
I think he'd be a great asset. Liam would be a great asset.
Good night.
Yeah, everyone's welcome, guys.
Yeah, he actually sent me over this way. Anyways, like he told me to check you out and all of that sort of stuff.
All right,
so
great, even better. Yeah, so I'd love to talk to Liam as well, and everybody's welcome, more than welcome.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, man.
All right,
enjoy.
Good night. Bye.
No worries.